And Bill Carswell on his Abzan Company deck, he has 2 copies of Malira Sylvac Outcast in his main deck. He has 4 Chords and 4 Collected Company as ways to find them. So there's a good chance that Todd is going to try and get there the honest way with 20 points of regular damage.
Yeah, this, depending on how this plays out, this could be really rough. If Todd has a really explosive and fast draw, he can still win the game, but if the game starts to drag out a little bit and Bill is able to find Malira, Todd basically has 1 Dismember in his whole deck to be able to kill that Malira. Otherwise, he will not be able to kill Bill with infect damage.
So we've got Bill's going to start off here with a Temple Garden and a Birds of Paradise. Todd's also going to have a 1-drop off his breeding pool with a Glistener Elf. So let's see where Bill can go. Once we get into that 4 mana plus stage is where his deck really starts to hum, Collected Company and all his efficient creatures. So we've got an Anafenza, Kintree Spirit off of his Birds of Paradise and Temple Garden, which is one part of the infinite life combo that this deck actually has.
Yeah. Also just kind of a decent card to play early. I mean, this is a good card for generating momentum. You get it early. I mean, Bill's deck is all creatures, so every time he plays something, he's going to be able to get one of those triggers. And like I was saying before with Malira being so good, one of the things that's great about this Abzan Company deck is it plays Collected Company. So it's going to be able to find that frequently, and when it finds 2 creatures, it gets 2 triggers off the Anafenza, which is really sweet. So
it looks like we've got a Blighted Agent for Todd, and Bill has just got that natural Orzhov Pontiff on turn 3. So just 2 for 0 his opponent, since he does get to keep the 1/1. He actually gets to bolster, so now it's a 2/2.
Wow.
Get in for some damage and pass back.
I think that was a blowout. I think that was a good opportunity for us to go, oh no way!
That was pretty good. However, Todd just gets to reload here with an Inkmoth Nexus and a Blighted Agent. So even though that was quite the blowout for Bill, he could still die next turn. And isn't that scary?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that's good about the Infect deck is it really only needs 1 threat. You know, playing 2 threats and having them die isn't actually the worst thing in the world so long as you have 1 threat, because he just wants 1 threat and pump spells.
So this is pretty rough for Bill. All he has is a Birds of Paradise and a Scavenging Ooze. He's going to get a couple bolster triggers, but he did not have the 4th mana to try and fire off some Collected Company to see if he can find a Malira, and he is actually at risk to die this turn with that Blighted Agent.
Yeah, well, the good news for him is he's definitely going to be able to cast Collected Company next turn, and given the fact that Todd has already been 2 for 1, you know, it's probably unlikely that he's actually going to cobble something together, but we'll see.
Now, it looks like Todd has picked up a copy of Twisted Image, which would have been nice to clear out the way for that Inkmoth Nexus. Had that other Birds of Paradise not get a bolster to become a 1/2 instead of a 0/1.
Yeah, not only has Anafenza made it so that a Twisted Image won't kill its Birds of Paradise, but this Anafenza, which was a 2-mana 2/2, essentially has added 3 additional power and toughness onto the board. So in a roundabout way, it's almost like a 2-mana 5/5, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I play 2-mana 4/5s all the time, but 2-mana 5/5s are pretty rare.
Yeah,
So Todd's just going to lay a Windswept Teeth, and he's still thinking about his turn. He doesn't have double Might of Old Crowstar or something like that, otherwise I'm sure Bill would just be dead, because Todd's pretty quick with this deck. So I think he's trying to figure out what's the best way to eke out as much damage as possible here. If he does have a pump spell, I actually do like attacking with his Inkmoth Nexus to try and get that Birds of Paradise off the board and keep him off 4 mana.
Yeah, I think that could be good, but I guess Todd seems like he's just valuing using that mana for other things.
So looks like we've just got a Spellskite out of Todd. Bill's going to untap here, and now that he does have 4 mana, we might see some big things if he happens to have Collected Company in his hand. Even if he doesn't, he still has a pretty formidable board. Just 3 2/2s, a couple 1-power flyers. He definitely can end this game in 2 or 3 attack steps.
Yeah, the pressure's really on Todd to develop an offense and close the game out quickly. Again, similar to what we were watching with Jeff Hoogland's deck, the Kiki Core deck. It's similar in the sense that it's going to be able to clog up the board and win a longer game if it gets to that point.
So we're going to see Bill's going to lay a Temple Garden here, untapped. Might as well take the 2 damage. It usually doesn't matter against these Infect decks. And let's see what he's got. So we're not seeing a Collected Company, but we do have a Voice of Resurgence. Coast is clear for Todd here at this point if he is able to get something going. Hopefully he's doing this in response to the Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah, it seems so. And he's really just doing that just to cycle. He knows that that Twisted Image isn't going to do anything else.
Now, it looks like he did pick up a copy of Vines of the Vastwood. In fact, he has 2 copies of Vines of the Vastwood. So if he is able to cobble together a 4th green source here, and Bill doesn't really have a way to interact with that Blighted Agent through those Vines and the Spellskite, He's actually dead.
Yeah, that was a real heads-up play on Todd's part to use that twisted image just to cycle. He knew that he wasn't going to get any real value out of it, and so he also knew that he needed to end the game quickly. So it was really, he just wants to dig deep, and he wants to have the cards he needs to win on the following turn, and he knows he's not going to get them.
Absolutely.
With a twisted image in his hand.
So it looks like the Anafenza trigger from the Voice of Resurgence went onto the Anafenza itself. We're seeing an attack with the Pontiff, the Scavenging Ooze, and the Anafenza. Ooze is going to eat a creature, going to get through 6 damage to Todd. He's going to get a tapped green source here. So I'm hoping that he has a green source in his hand to be able to finish out this game. Otherwise, I wouldn't really have fetched.
Yeah, I would assume that he's got one in his hand. He's playing pretty fast, so maybe he just has it. He might actually have a...
Well, there's a Wooded Foothills, so either he had it,
GG!
Doesn't matter. He's right on top.
Yep.
So we got a Wooded Foothills is going to fetch. He's just going to show him 2 copies of Vines of the Vastwood. Kicked, +4/+4, +4/+4. It looks like his last card wasn't Misty Rainforest, so he did have it.
Yeah. So that's really good for Todd. Things may be getting a little bit worse in the sideboard. Bill has a lot of really good cards against Todd, specifically Melira, and a lot of good ways to find them. So Todd, being the aggressive linear deck that's easy to hit out, he really wants to steal that game 1, and he's done just that.
So this is one of those games where we see a great play from Bill using that Orzhov Pontiff to take out both of Todd's creatures, leaving them with absolutely nothing. And very easily Todd was able to reload with just an Inkmoth Nexus and a Blighted Agent and win solely off of those cards.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with just the fact that Todd really only needs 1 creature to live. As soon as he has 1 creature alive, then all of his pump spells are live. But if he has multiple creatures in play, multiple pump spells aren't necessarily even better.
So let's take a look at the sideboards here. Bill Carswell, he does have an Archangel of Thune. Man, that's a good card. I played that a little bit. We got a Linvala, Keeper of Silence, Anafenza the Foremost, the other Anafenza, Aven Mind Sensor, 2 Fulminator Mage, a Spike Feeder to combo with that Archangel, an Abrupt Decay, a Kosali Pride Mage, 2 Burnt Forge Tender, 2 Path to Exile, and 2 Thoughtseize. So what do you think Bill's going to do here against Infect?
So I think Bill, being on the control plan, his deck isn't really faster, and because of Melira, he can set himself up to have a really good endgame. So I'd expect to see more controlling cards come in, such as Archangel of Thune. He could consider Aven Mind Sensor as more disruption, or Fulminator Mage, because some of Todd's best Infect creatures are lands. Abrupt Decay is also likely to come in. You can do some stuff with Kosali Pride Mage as well, but the Path to Exile and Thoughtseize are for sure coming in. Yeah,
I like having the spot removal as well as potentially that Fulminator Mage as a way to take care of those Nexus. Now remember, Todd can save them with a Vines of the Vastwood.
Yeah.
On Todd's side, we have a Wild Defiance, 2 Twisted Image, 3 Nature's Claim, a Viridian Corruptor, 3 Spell Pierced, a Necropede, 2 Relic of Progenitus, a Pithy Needle, and a Gut Shot. It's pretty spicy. What do you think Todd's going to bring in here?
So I think Todd definitely wants to stick with his plan A. He wants to continue being the aggressor. He wants the game to end early, and so he doesn't want to water down his strategy too much. He's not up against red-based removal, so I don't think that he'll bring in Wild Defiance. He may consider Twisted Image just to deal with any kind of opposing spell skites, or maybe to snipe some Birds of Paradise. I don't think that he'll bring in Spell Pierce, although that can be a good defensive card in these situations. So I think mostly he's going to keep his deck the same and only bring in, 1 or 2 cards.
Absolutely. Now, Todd Anderson, as some of you might have seen him, he is a writer for us at StarCityGames.com, and he does a lot of content, and you can find some of that content on the StarCityGames.com YouTube page. So that's youtube.com/StarCityGames.com, and here you can find quite a few different things.
Yeah, really, really great. I love having all of the Magic content online. A lot of times for me personally, I'll just be working in my studio and I'll just have stuff streaming in the background. And, I love it. Some people have Netflix accounts. I have a Star City account. Nice.
So you can check out the Versus series. You can check out Premium Archives, Open Series Archives, like this one itself. It will be on the YouTube page.
Yeah, you guys get to watch us again.
Again, as well as unboxings and much more. If you can't get enough CVM, you can check out my unboxing videos. Again, make sure you go to youtube.com/StarCityGames. Subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. You get notified when new things get posted. It's a pretty sweet service.
Yeah, super sweet.
So we come back here for Game 2. Todd Anderson on Blue-Green Infect is up a game against Bill Carswell, who's playing Abzan Company. Both players are 5-0, looking to make it to 6-0 on the day and giving them a good shot to make it into Day 2 with a great record and then make a run at the top 8 of this thing.
Yeah, for sure. And even though this is kind of a dicey matchup for Todd, the fact that he was able to win game 1 is really a big deal. Normally, if you just ask me in the dark who is favored, I would say the Abzan Company deck is favored. But given this situation, I'd say Todd's probably favored to take this.
Yeah, that's one of the things about these combo decks. Blue-Red Twin, Blue-Green Infect, Living End, Amulet Bloom. Like, there are all these great cards, some even in the main deck that people have against you. They can blank you. But you're such a dedicated strategy, and it's so powerful. Sometimes it just doesn't even matter. You kill them before it's relevant.
Yeah, or you just are more likely to win game 1 because they don't know what you're playing. They don't know what hand to keep or mulligan based on your archetype. And then if you can just steal game 1, then even if they do have really good hate for your deck, you can just sneak one by in either game 2 or 3.
Absolutely. So it looks like we got a mulligan going on, and we'll take that time to learn about the handsome Todd Anderson. He's 29,
so handsome.
Lives in Roanoke, Virginia. A little less beard there in the picture. We should probably get a new one. Career highlights: he has 3 invitational top 8s, 1 win, the 2012 season 3, 26 open top 8s with 6 wins. He is currently the all-time leader in open top 8s. I know I have at least half that many, which still makes me feel good. We do have 4 GP top 8s. He does have the most Open Series top 8s of all time. He's married to Callie Anderson, the first woman to win an Open Series. They were playing the exact same deck, and Todd beat her in the top 8, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Or she beat Todd in the top 8.
That number of top 8s is just unreal.
Yeah, he's
a
powerful wizard.
Yeah.
So we do see Bill here is going to lead off with a Verdant Catacombs fetching out, and Temple Garden, take a little bit of damage that's not really relevant. Play a Birds of Paradise and pass the turn to Todd, who's just going to go Pendlehaven, Glistener Elf. We got a clock. What you going to do?
Yeah, also got a pump spell on the board. Pendlehaven's a really sweet card.
So looking at Todd's hand as he flashes through, it looks like there's an Inkmoth Nexus. Maybe Gataxian Probe, see if something's clear. But we do have Malira Silvok Outcast on Bill Carswell's side, and this is a card that is very good against Infect.
Yeah, serious rut row.
So we see Malira here, 2 mana, 2/2. You can't get poison counters. Oops. Creatures you control can't have -1/-1 counters on them, and creatures your opponent control lose Infect. So not only does Bill have a Malira on the battlefield along with 2 Birds of Paradise, but he also has a Gavany Township as one of his lands.
Yeah, this is
going to talk about Snowball. That can end the game quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be an uphill battle for Todd. He doesn't really have a path to beat Bill quickly, and Bill has a path to take over the game.
So Todd now did attack with his Glistener Elf, pumped it, made it a 2/3 regular damage. So he did fetch Shock. That is going to be relevant this game, potentially down to 13. Become Immense is still +6/+6, and either way you slice it, that's a lot of damage, whether it's Infect or not.
Oh, wow. And is this just game right here? That's a Murderous Redcap, a Seer, and a Malira. GG! We did it!
Man. All right, so that is just game.
And on to the next one.
Yeah. Well, this is fun. So, yeah, we've got Todd Anderson is tied up against Bill Carswell. They're at 1-1. I didn't even get through talking about how cool it was that Todd could potentially win with regular damage, and he just got infinite comboed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the story of today has just been lopsided games. It has just been one way or the other, just a landslide. I mean, this is rough. I think if anyone is watching this stream with small kids, they need to cover their eyes because this is kind of a slaughter.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So while they're shuffling up for the last game, let's take a second and talk about another big Modern tournament that's going to be coming up here during the Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch weekend. It's going to be the Regional Championships. So this is a really, really sweet playmat, and I really want one.
Yeah, I think this is super, super sweet playmat as well. I know I get a lot of playmats. I give them away to a lot of family and friends, just to be nice or whatever. But this is one that I would certainly keep for myself.
Absolutely. So February 6th, it's going to be Modern. The first 200 players will get this free exclusive Ascent of Aya playmat and token. You can go to go.starcitygames.com/regionals to find out where the regionals in your area is located, as well as the information on the venue and ways that you can pre-register, which is something you definitely should do if you want to get this. The first 200 will get it, and this is a really, really sweet playmat. And as you can see here, there's lots of prizes at this tournament.
Yeah, in particular the Star City points. Those are hard to come by this year.
Hot commodity.
Hot commodity, very valuable. Everybody wants them. They're just the sweetest thing on the world. basically.
Absolutely.
And these are one of the good places to get them.
In addition to that, there is some cash prizes. And again, go.starcitygames.com/regionals to check that out. February 26th, 2016. If you're not playing in the Oath of the Gatewatch Pro Tour, you should head out to one of these regional championships in battle.
Oh, yeah.
So we come back here to Game 3. Todd's going to be on the play, rightfully so, as he was just killed before he could do anything last game. He's going to start out fetching into a breeding pool, take a little bit of damage, and I imagine we're going to see a Noble Hierarch or a Glistener Elf here. It looks like it is a Glistener Elf.
I mean, after that last game, I feel like, Bill should just do a courtesy mulligan or something.
Right?
I mean, that was just savage.
So it looks like we've got just a land go from Bill, and Todd is going to go with a Gitaxian Probe. Let's see what Bill is working with.
So the fact that Todd is shooting off the Gitaxian Probe now may reveal that he's either digging for lands or digging for action, or that he has everything he needs and he's looking to see if the coast is clear.
And it looks like the coast might be clear. We've got a Voice of Resurgence, an Eternal Witness, Court of Calling, Razorverge Thicket, a Plains, a couple other green cards that don't look like they're actually going to kill that Glistener Elf. So there's a good chance Todd does some poison damage here coming up. Looks like he does have a land in his hand, but it is a Dryad Arbor. This Noble Hierarch is going to give the Glistener Elf Exalted, get in for 2 damage. He's going to play a land and pass, and Todd definitely looks like he has a pretty good board presence here. Bill doesn't have much going on, and his hand didn't really have too much going on, unless one of those green cards we couldn't see was Malera.
Yeah, I think that Bill's hand looked like it was really powerful, but maybe a little slow. The Voice of Resurgence is going to do a good job if it comes down this turn in buying Bill a little bit of time, but Todd is definitely basically in striking range at this point. He's going to be able to sort of have his way with Bill on these opening turns.
Yeah, just a couple pump spells and this game is over. Now it looks like Todd actually does have the Dismember in his hand, so even if Bill is able to assemble together that Malera, Todd does have an answer for it, which is really important.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see what Todd does here, because he doesn't really want to attack right into the Voice. At least I don't think he does, because the back half of Voice is almost as good as the front half. So we'll have to see how much he values his one Infect creature on the board. He has another one in hand, so he may not actually value the one on the board that much.
Yeah, he also has a handful of Pump. He does have a Twisted Image, so any Birds of Paradise or Spellskite that Bill happens to cobble together is just going to get killed pretty quickly. But that Become Immense is a pretty big game.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
If Bill didn't have a blocker, it would just be game.
We may even see the Twisted Image and Dismember fired off on things that aren't particularly important.
Oh, is this just game?
Oh,
he's going to be able to do Protection from white and then Become Immense. Yeah.
Jeez, Todd, why so handsome?
Just dismember his own land?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's pretty good. That's one way to win.
I guess one turn 3 deserves another?
Yeah.
Exalted.
And he just
throw it at him
on the other side of the table. He's like,
you're just gonna throw your Glistener Elf?
This is going to kill you. Your Voice can't even block it.
Wow, just dismember his own land. So that way he has 4 cards in his graveyard. The Apostle's Blessing on white gives it 5, and then the Become Immense is able to delve the full 5 cards.
Yeah, and
for 6, 7, 7.
Bill can't even believe what has happened. He's making Todd explain it time after time.
What just happened?
And Bill's probably like, wait, I want to play some more. Can we just play one more turn, please?
Yeah, Todd, you did that to me last game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, tit for tat.
All right. Well, Todd Anderson is going to go on to be 6-0 in this tournament, winning against Bill Carswell on Abzan Company. Todd with blue-green Infect, just an actual turn 3. You can see here he just has a look on his face like, wow, I can't believe I saw that. That was sweet. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that done before. I've seen a lot of sweet things done with Infect before, but I've never seen the Dismember my own land so that I could Become Immense.
What also made it so great, too, was Bill turn 3's Todd, and then Todd comes right back at him with the turn 3 kill of his own.
Wow.
Yeah, super sweet.
I expect those in the pre-board games, not the post